to Sobro, where we talk and sew. That's pretty much it. I want to introduce my guest, the Messiah, a phenomenal rapper and poet. Did I leave anything out?
Real nigga.
He said it, not me. Anyway. How have you been, dude?
I've been doing good, yeah. Just chilling.
Good.
Moved out of my family's house.
Nice. How?
Yeah. That's like the biggest life thing for me right now.
Was it for the sex life or the mental health life or a bit of both?
All of the above, yeah. For the freedom. It feels good.
It does. It's needed. Getting away, it's... You know, I was actually learning that's a whole thing behind, like, different animal species. In some groups, the males leave, and in other groups, the women leave. And then in humans, we just become assholes when we're teenagers. Like, nature has all these mechanisms to ensure we don't get our horniest when we're around the people we're related to.
Gotta space it out.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy, yo. No horny ass kids around me, the fuck?
So, y'all just wrapped up a Kill the Poet show in Long Beach. How did that go?
That one was super sick. That was the first paid, like, Kill the Poet event, and it was a success. We got a lot of wonderful artists that showed up and went absolutely crazy. Really just the homies, for real, though. Like, everybody we've just... Because, I mean, you're outside, too, in the open mic space, just, like... It felt like the best of the best in what we do in the open mic community.
Oh, yeah, you had a great lineup. Young Toledo, Mattima, Fran, just... The vibes were there, and it was across the board. It was poetic, it was musical, there was hip, there was hop.
Yep. All of the above.
There was me outside trying to start a mosh pit.
The security guard bringing the fan to cool down the people, yo. He was looking out for me. I was over there sweating in my little coat.
That was always the thing I loved about going to concerts in San Francisco is you would be sweating super warm, and then you'd step outside and just get flash frozen by the Bay Area. The fog, the rain, and it was refreshing, but then you're just like, all right, who would I come here with? This is cold.
Yeah, that first 5 minutes is amazing. And then right after you're like, okay, I'm back to normal level, then you just start freezing.
I was like, outside's great. I can mosh, I can smoke, it's warm in there.
I know, and I'm always outside in the smoking section, so I'm like, I'm used to the cold at this point. The cold of night.
Yeah, the smokers are out there being the first line of defense with security in case there's any crazy people.
I don't know about line of defense. I'll definitely be there. I'll be there a judge. Not even a witness. I'm just there to watch and judge. It's like, damn, that's crazy. Why would they do that? Couldn't be me. I think it's time to leave. Just there judging. How should this go?
Like, there's times where you want to intervene where you're like, this person's problematic. And there's other times where you're like, this ain't even my event. No one's paying me to take blows through these people. I want to see how this pans out.
Yeah. But they're too problematic. Like, oh no, this might be dangerous.
There's times where it's like, I should be chivalrous. And then you see they're that kind of crazy and you're like, you know, I don't even know these people that well.
Nope. It's like, I'm not Superman. I was like, that is not my job. I'm just here to monitor.
I was smart and I threaded this before because if I were to try to do it on camera, it would take me 18 times because no one was watching. I did it on the first try.
Nice.
Sewing, that's where I'm like, all right, shotting gun.
Man, I should have brought some of my shit, yo. I need hella shit sewed.
Dude, it's one of those things where it's like, forget the like gender norms or whatever. It's just useful because it saves me money. And then, like, you know who actually got me into sewing was the punk homie. He was just like, you're coming to shows, you should put patches on that stuff. Even though my mother's actually really good at sewing and shows
patches. Okay, that makes sense.
So he was just like, you know, gang stuff.
Oh, okay, my bad.
No, but it was fun getting into that culture of like making battle jackets.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're called if they're covered in patches.
Damn, so you were into that gang shit for a little bit?
I mean, it was cool to just go and like when you see versus the like Hot Topic style punk versus the DIY and like going to shows and seeking out the patches and wearing them and being able to be like, oh, that's who you get down with. Or I had so many patches from DC punk bands like Minor Threat and Bad Brains that people thought I was from DC because I was repping that seed. Because, you know, even though I had plenty of SoCal patches on, it was just...
Did a patch ever get you into trouble? They're like, nah, we don't fuck with those with those people. Like, wait, you with them?
No, they've gotten me compliments, but that's like that's also why I'm very precocious about who and what I rep.
Yeah.
Like, there's this punk band Anti-Flag. Their lead singer apparently he was been child molesting until he was an adult, so adult raping and all that.
Oh.
And I was just like, all right, never wearing any of their stuff ever again. Don't.
Yeah.
But that, like, being aware of stuff like that, because someone saw I had a sticker and I didn't know, and then they're like, oh, really? Sticker gone. Anyway,
Crazy. I know I have a friend with the Kanye West tattoo, and now
oh, please tell me they got that like the late 90s.
No, it was the "Everything I Am" quote. So it's just the words, and it doesn't say Kanye West, but it's just the words. And she said she's already looking for cover-ups. Yeah.
Just tell people it's a Remy quote.
Yeah, just like, I made it up. Everything I'm not, maybe everything. I said that.
Dude, did you ever see Kanye West on Def Jam Poetry?
Oh, yeah.
Foreshadowing his own implosion.
That's part of what got me into poetry, because just seeing the uniqueness of it and just the hip hop element. Because I mean, I've always liked rap, so I was like, wait, you could just do that too.
Oh, it's a cappella hip hop.
And still poetic as fuck.
Dude, hip hop got me into writing poetry again recently. Yeah, have you heard of this Irish rap group Kneecap?
No.
I
like
won't.
that name,
I won't shut up about them at this point. But they rap in English and Irish, Gaelic, Gaeilge, depending on the crowd you're talking to. And as I was trying to like learn Gaeilge again, poetry was a great tool where I could like switch back and forth between English and Gaeilge to fill in the gaps. Because there's times where it's like, oh, that's a cooler rhyme scheme if I'm playing with both languages. But then it was also good practice to get up on stage and do nothing but Gaeilge into the mic. Like I did a whole poem where it was just me cussing out the president and Musk in Gaeilge, but it was so because it was like, oh, it was poetic, it was me practicing my words, it was me sharing the language, even though I could never really get onto a mic with the amount of respect I got from this crowd and be like, Elon Musk, go down on yourself.
Yeah, no, I mean, it still might hit. You'd be surprised. Yeah. That
not as poetic though.
Yeah, no, not
and
as
mysterious.
More of a like, you right.
I don't know what he's saying, but I get the vibe.
That's such a big part of art too. Is the people that don't fully understand it, but it's like, yo, that shit just sounds dope.
Dude, isn't that every song until you're like, I think I know what they mean. I'm going to look up the lyrics. And you're like, cool, I do agree with you.
It's like, I do agree. The feeling of like, oh yeah, I knew it was right.
Hoping the lyrics you're thinking are what's actually said.
Yep. So, have you ever been completely wrong where you think they said something and you just were off?
Yeah. I can't think of like any examples off the top of my head, but I've had a few times where it's like, I liked my version better.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. I feel that.
What about you? Have you ever had any where you're like, whoa, that's nothing. No, whoa, that way off.
I can't remember the artist, but I know the song was called Replay. And so the hook goes like, oh, like my iPod stuck on replay. But I thought he said eyeball stuck on plate. And I thought it just sounded so much harder. And like,
I'm just thinking of like a Mad TV comic book where like their eyes are or the Looney Tunes where their eyes are getting stuck on something.
Yeah, like just the I know exactly what you mean. The cartoon eyes that just stretch out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh, that. See, I have that like learning Irish now, where it's like the word means one thing, but what anyone else thinks it means in English is whoa. Because there's a few things where it's like, oh, I'm just talking about finances and stuff. It's like you can't say that word.
Like what?
Like account is kuntas. You,
yeah, nah.
or union is atlantis.
Like, what did you call me?
Yeah. I'm talking about opening up an account in my union. People think I'm going the wrong direction.
Yeah, they're like, oh, hell no.
That's the fun of language, though, is the wordplay.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, we're gonna take a short commercial break. We will be right back.
Love a commercial break.
Yeah, you got that security guard at a dispensary vibe.
Oh, absolutely. It's like, let me see your ID.
And not where they're like, oh, we have this guy out here in bulletproof armor, just
Nope.
low key.
All I gotta do is go, hey, stop. And they listen.
Dude, because I would be smoking and such outside of venues often, if I sat within 5 feet of the door, people assumed I was the bouncer.
Because you're there for so long. Yeah.
Yeah, they just, like, I've had people give me their IDs and whatever, and I'm just like, no.
Ask for directions.
Yeah, or just be like, could you deal with that guy? It's like, no,
It's like, you don't want me to handle it.
I mean, I'm 130 pounds. I'm flattered that anyone wants me to handle anything physical. But if anyone weighs more than 20 pounds than me, I am landing jabs unless I land a perfect shot in the trachea like Luigi every 5 moves in Super Smash Brothers.
You just gotta practice your uppercuts, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You just gotta jump on them. I could definitely see you being like a jiu-jitsu master in a different life.
Dude, if it weren't for Jiu-Jitsu Bros, I totally would have gotten into that.
It's definitely a thing. Jiu-Jitsu Bros is a real community of people out there.
They're like loud communists, where everyone who could potentially be into this thing for legitimate reasons is just like, it's interesting, but it's not worth you.
Yeah. It's like, I get it. You're right in some ways, but you're just doing a lot. Now, I remember in high school, I got into it with somebody on the wrestling team one day, but this was before I even knew they were on the wrestling team. And so, like, they did some shit I don't remember, and then I swing, and they just catch my arm, and, like, it was on some, like, movie shit where they had me on the table, just arm behind my back, and I was like, oh, shit. Like, this happened too quick. And so I can only imagine if I'm, like, in a real street fight, and somebody hits me with a fucking arm bar, be there traumatized.
Damn. Wait, when you say like wrestling team, do you mean like body built wrestling or just like generally athletic? They only do their weight class.
It was high school, so that it wasn't like no type of bodybuilding type of shit. Like, they're very just scrawny kids. Let me not say scrawny, but they're still kids at the end of the day.
Nice.
There were some buff ass people at the high school though.
But they weren't the wrestlers.
No, it was usually always football.
What
It sounds absolutely insanity outside.
Yeah, so okay. You want to describe for people what's going on outside while I find where I'm at in this thread?
I think I hear an owl sound. I heard somebody screaming, car alarm, a little bit of the helicopter still circling around. Feels like Gotham a little bit.
I mean, at this point, Gotham's government is less corrupt than ours. Like, that's... Like, you know whose management we'd be great under? The Penguin. At least Bane was willing to wear a mask.
Yeah.
Okay, so what songs, albums, artists have you been listening to lately?
Lately, Saba just dropped with No ID. That one was pretty cool. My homie Toledo put me on to Icy Twat. That is the name of the artist. Icy Twat, a dude. Absolutely fire.
That's a dude's name.
Dude.
Of course.
Icy Twat. Fire.
American English or...
Yeah, American English. Just some nigga shit. Going absolutely insane. But I was sold on the name. I was like, okay, I'm gonna remember this. I'm gonna go back and listen. And I liked everything I heard.
Dude, it's like, if there was a Special Victims Unit England, it sounds like what the...
Icy Twat.
You know, they have to think like the worst combinations of body part and description to put in those shows.
Definitely like a Mad Lib type of thing. I used to love those shits too. Where it's like you make your own story. You can just freeball it with... Just spice it up into little blanks.
All right, so what's the worst song or artist you've heard lately?
Damn.
Like, just one where you're like, why is this person popular?
I would have to say the Playboy Cardi album for me. I know a lot of people really, really fuck with it because it is its own, I feel like, genre of music, like adjacent to hip hop. It's still hip hop, but it's definitely its own like subgenre that I'm not necessarily a fan of. But some of the beats on there are still hard. Like it wasn't I didn't listen to all of it, but I'm like the one beat I heard, I was like, all right, I could play this one. I'll play the intro. Once he starts doing his thing, I'll skip.
All right. Nice.
Yeah, it's very. Have you listened to it? Or
dude, I'm in my bubble of playlists and artists. Like, I've been going down this rabbit hole of 90s, early 2000s hip-hop. Because Kneecap got me into hip-hop again. Just hear it, because they have a lot of, like, what sounds like influence from, like, 90s and early 2000s hip-hop. And so I've been listening to, like, Dead Prez and
nice.
Deltron 3030 again, and Flowbots. Who else? Quantasius. He's got a few singles out.
I love that name. No, I've never heard of him.
Yeah. That, and then, have you heard of Name Buddha and Time?
Mm-mm.
They just put out an album together called Wars Within Wars.
Sick.
Dude, it's heavy as fuck. Like, super relevant, what's going on in the world, and a very, like, critical look. One of them, I think it's Name Buddha, has Irish heritage, so he was talking about the unique situation we are in, being awesome colonizers as white folk, but having been colonized ourselves as Irish people. And that a lot of, like, other issues we're dealing with in our community, even though we may not identify the Irish community from the larger populace, but of, like, are coming from that. A loss of spirituality a disconnection from our ancestors, a loss of narrative of who we are and where we come from. And hearing that reflected in like the context where they're also like playing James Baldwin clips and Asada Shakur, it's like, okay, cool, you're spinning it all together. One people, one struggle. And that was like really cool to hear. And then it's just good beats, heavy lyrics, just my cup of tea. And also that's like more recent, because sometimes I'm like, between like 80s punk music and 90s hip hop, I'm like, I get it, but just so much Reagan stuff.
Yeah. No, that's the beauty of hip hop for real though. It's just that being able to like verbalize those complex feelings and ideologies and just like making it, I don't want to necessarily say palatable. It is palatable, but like some of the best shit is you gotta know a little something. You gotta know the context.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like now I do what Family Guy did to us, where I just hit people with so many references that eventually they're gonna look up one of them.
I tried rewatching Family Guy, and I'm like, I was laughing as a kid. I didn't get a single reference. I sound like I still don't understand Family Guy. I'm like, who is this made for?
Well, I think that's the fun, is kids are, you're watching it in like middle school, and you're like, oh, I'm so mature. They're saying bad words. Stewie might be gay. This is, just, it's edgy for you, even though you're not getting it, and you're thinking, oh, this is what older people get. And then you realize older people don't get it. Yeah. Some of those jokes are for really old people who are watching it in passing.
Even to have that Rolodex of references, just to catch every single one, it's like, what walk of life is this for?
I think that's a part of being a good artist, is you can drop hella references and your audience loves you so much and they like the vibe that they'll go look up those references later because they know they're going to be listening to the song again. Like Bad Religion, who I got on the wall back over there, their lead singer has a PhD. Yeah, in like, I forgot if it was like anthropology or like what specific aspect of science, but a PhD in like some field of science around like anthropology and politics and religion. Like he wrote his dissertation on the incompatibility of religion and science. Damn. And he is credited in the punk scene where he gave a lot of us like idiot rambunctious punks a bigger vocabulary because we were listening to his lyrics and we're like, wow, that is a big word and that is a lot of concepts.
Like, what is that? What does that mean?
Yeah, but I think that's the beauty of it, is then us going up and looking up those words.
Yeah, I'm king of Googling some shit if I don't understand what's going on. A reference, if I have a question, I'm like quick to look it up real quick.
That's the fun of all this reference stuff now. You could look it up in real time and be like, oh, that's...
What do they mean? Let's find out right now. Unless you have to like stumble upon it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was... last thing I looked up was Wallahi. I didn't know... I just kept hearing that phrase and I didn't know what it was. I had to look it up real quick, and it just means like I put that on God. Swear to God. But in Arabic.
What does it mean?
Like I swear to God.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it was because I be into battle rap, so it was like a battle rap face off, and he was like accusing the dude of lying, and he just got up and was yelling "Wallahi, Wallahi," and I was just like, what does that mean? Like what is, like, it sounded like he cursed him for a second. Like I was like what the fuck was that? and I had to figure it out. I was like, oh, okay.
And he's like, I swear to God. I swear to...
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the kind of the fun things about language, is a little phrase can have so much weight. Or like, I realize this doing like stand-up now. even though we're doing a joke about wrestling with my brothers and me getting strangled, if I say I can't breathe, kills the joke.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everyone's like, what in the George Floyd did you just say?
Yeah, like what are you trying to get at here, sir?
Just completely wrecked.
Yeah. Loses all momentum.
Oh, yeah.
It's just spiking the ball at that point.
So, another question I wanted to ask you: how long have you been writing for? Like, did you start out writing poetry, or did you start out like doing hip hop and then ventured into poetry? What came first?
My very first time writing was like in middle school. We had like a poetry assignment. We had to make like a little poetry book, and so that's when I realized I could rhyme very easily, because it was still very rhyme heavy. Like it was definitely not as poetic as I would say I am today. Today as like a grown man with experiences and depth. But it definitely started as that in middle school. Then I wasn't writing at all, and then in high school for rap battles, I started freestyling, and then was like, okay, I'm watching all these rap battles. I see how they're constructed, some of like the craziest shit I've ever heard. Just crafted amazing bars. Writing is incredible. So I was like, okay, I want to try to write like that and see the different styles they would use. Like there was one they would call it scheming. Like people, because they would always have attributes in the beginning of the videos. Like, okay, this person's good at aggression. This person's good at freestyle. And this person's good at schemes. And so I'm like, what is the scheme? Basically, it's just word association. But I was like, I want to try to copy the different styles and see how I could like write something of my own in that style. And so that just got me super tapped into writing.
The old school poetry assignment. That.
Yep.
That's how they get you hooked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you get that poetry assignment around the same time you're like structuring lyrics as a kid, just because you're connecting thoughts. You got that angst and cool. So, were you looking up poets from there, or were you just still sticking to lyrics and just reading song lyrics more?
I'm trying to remember the first time I started looking up poetry myself, because I know I saw my auntie perform at DPL at a young age, and that kind of like introduced me to like the poetry scene and just that it even existed. And then from there it was Def Jam poetry and like the Kanye Def Jam poetry. I also saw, my dad took me to see Ice Life, who was a poet that was on Def Jam poetry, and that was another eye-opening one. I've had another poet, I believe his name is Aaron Carter. He came to my high school and performed, and it was just always super interesting to me. Just how they would tell their own stories and say in such a cool way.
That's a good way of describing it. Cool storytelling.
Yeah.
Like cutting off the fetch, getting to the point, the rhythm and the flow, and it also makes you realize like how many people are terrible storytellers with tons of assets at their disposal. When you think of like music videos and movies and shows, it's like you had all that, and this dude could a cappella a better story than you.
Yeah. Oh, there's don't get me started on like movie writing with terrible plots where I'm like, oh, that's just wasted my time for an hour and a half.
My brother and I, we have a game like where we'll guess what happens next in movies, and we've gotten really good at it. Like, there were a few times I was hanging out with friends in college, and I would call out the order in which characters are going to die 5 minutes in.
Damn. And with accuracy?
Yes, and they'd be like, I'm like, that guy dies at the end tragically.
I was just having this conversation with my roommate the other day too. Like, I don't understand why certain tropes and just like ways they choose to the way they choose to tell stories in movies are so formulaic. Like everybody has been watching movies for like a majority of their life at this point, and so it's like how predictable this shit is kind of crazy. Like you gotta switch up the formula at some point.
Oh yeah, when you realize how many shows and movies are Hamlet. Just
all from Shakespeare.
Yeah.
Like, oh, got it. Romeo and Juliet, but
that's why anime's taking over, because the plot lines are better sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not super big into anime. Like I had my Naruto, and that was about it for me. And the Dragon Ball Z games, but it's still very surface level.
So this segues into another question I wanted to ask. What shows have you been watching lately?
I'm into Severance heavy right now. Have you heard of Severance?
I've heard about it from a mutual friend of ours, but tell us, why? What has you interested in Severance?
The general like concept is that like you get like a chip in your brain, so when you go to work, it's a whole different version of you. So your company is like, hey, you want to join this program? You're not gonna even remember your shift. So you're just gonna send yourself as like a representative to do the work on whatever you need to do, but you just get to live your life however you want to. So all you really have to do is wake up and get to work and then get back home, and then you just have all that time to yourself. And that shit is interesting as hell to me, because I'm like, even as all the crazy things are unfolding in the show, I'm like, if like 10, 15 years down the line, if it was presented, and then I was like, I would be the type of person that shit was like made for. Because I'm like, you already go to work, you already detach. So it's like, what's really the downside? Because you're really just never working again. You're not even consciously there. Like, you just walk in the elevator, and then you're walking out of the elevator, and you're done at work.
Interesting. So I get the feel from that now that it's like, oh, so then shit can happen to you at work, and what's that bruise? What's that mark on my neck?
Yep, exactly that. Yeah.
And it almost seems like you're letting them borrow your body like someone borrows a scooter.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And then like even the inside version of you, like with how they start off, they basically have to convince this person, because it's still you, but now your memories are wiped. You're just waking up in a room and you're at work, and they're explaining what they did and how you chose to send yourself down there. And so now you have to convince this human being to, like, now your life is work. So all you're a whole human being yourself, but all you can do is work. Like, you chose this for yourself, and so you kind of just are there with that resentment. Like, that shit gets deep as hell, yeah. I just be in there tripping out, just thinking of all. I like to watch shows and ponder. That's what I be into.
I like to ponder too. I like sci-fi and stuff like that, and gets you thinking. And I've never seen the show, but I can imagine and probably guess some of the whole host of scenarios that springs up.
Mm-hmm. Oh, what's your predictions? You think you can plan it out without even seeing the pilot?
Oh yeah, of course there's gonna be rape. Just
oh damn!
In that show, how is the not like? Oh, the person isn't gonna know what happens to them at work. It's like, do you know what the film industry was doing to women, and they knew they were gonna remember it, and they had social media accounts, and somehow still got them to stay quiet for decades. Like,
in the show?
Yeah. Oh, am I wrong? Is it not just like?
I mean, maybe next season. It's not far fetched, but I mean, damn.
Wow, if they have, how many seasons is it?
It's only two.
Two, and they haven't had a rape episode.
No.
Jesus. No. Wow. Boy, did I gamble away all my money.
Yeah, I tend not to watch shows with those episodes. I'm like, I try to avoid those.
Aside from Severance, anything else, or has that just been the
Invincible. I like superhero shit.
nice? I'm not caught up on the new season.
Missing out, yo.
Yeah, it's that thing, dude. You move away from your family, and then suddenly they crack down on the passwords.
Yeah.
And a part of me is like, you know what? I got Crunchyroll and YouTube and
YouTube for sure.
Spotify. I'm okay. And these like, if they were updating their catalogs more, sure, cool. If I were working a little more, absolutely. But
It's a lot to keep up with, and it's like all the good shows are scattered across multiple platforms.
see, I wouldn't mind if it wasn't just. It seems like all they have is one good show.
Mm-hmm.
Every platform has one show they're trying to hook you with,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just like you can't just have one.
Yeah. I'm also a fan of trashy reality TV shows, yo.
Ooh, go on.
Those
Tell me
are
more.
my
What?
bag. Are You the One is my absolute favorite trashy reality TV show, because it's the perfect formula for mess and and beef. Like they have a plan, and they just set these people on each other, and it always works out. Like, that shit is incredible. Some little MTV dating shit.
So they're trying to baboon humans as much as possible. Just
It's just you put a bunch of beautiful single people in a spot and be like, oh, go fall in love. but you can only end up with this one person that we predetermined before you guys even met. And if you guys don't end up together, you don't win the money. But they don't know who it is, so they're just there hooking up, they're having a good time, and then it's like, wait, oh, this isn't the love of my life that you said. So now we just have to live in the same place, and I gotta find the other person. It's just, there's never gonna not be. It's never gonna not be chaos. It's like, yo, we were just together. We were just in love. That's the entire, every episode is just like somebody doing some shady shit. Because they're trying to win the money. Because duh, we came here for the money. We trying to win the money.
it's like it's it's like being in a royal court. It's just, in medieval times, like everyone's just trying to fuck whoever to end up with the most money.
Mm-hmm.
It sucks that someone falls in love during this fuck fest and financial quest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, no, that was your fault for falling in love.
Mm-hmm.
Did you not see the game we're playing?
Exactly. That's all I'd be thinking the entire time. It's like, damn, like you love them like that, like already? That's crazy. Like, you really fell head over heels. Like, I almost envy that feeling in a way, because I am not like that. Like, I don't just fall head over heels for somebody off of nothing, off of good vibes.
You don't just fall for someone?
Nah, not really. I feel like it takes like it's a conscious effort, and it's only like rooted in like, okay, they look good. Like, it's
That's all. That's just, it's got to be good looks. It's not, they say a few things, they have a perspective on the world that pulls you in.
No, that's important too, but it's never for me, at least, like where those tend to align all the time. Like, I just have to. I feel like it's more of a feeling out process.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's just,
You got to hang out. You're one of those guys, you got to hang out a few times for the. Is that what you mean by feel out, or?
Yeah, or I'm just dealing with ancient people. Either or. Either or.
Because I will have that where like fortress around my heart, you can't get in here. And she's like, looks are superficial, but then it's like words, conversation, minds and our minds and hearts being in the right place, someone getting my references,
Yeah.
you know, or just like when someone's well read too. And because I like as you can see, I like conversations, but I'm also like, I am a geek when it comes to like science and history. So the stuff I'm like, yeah, I watch Crunchyroll or whatever. I watch so many documentaries and so much stuff that like I will go on rants or tangents where I'll watch hours long documentaries and someone who's not into that's gonna maybe have a hard time going like, oh, this is
this might not see it as interesting as
like this is the most boring stuff you can imagine because like I like a lot of boring documentaries. Like when I hear the narrator with no riz, I'm you did your research.
All monotone, yeah.
I'm like, this is someone who does their research. You know what I?
Do you like animal documentaries? Because
I like
more historical, right?
Yeah, more. So like I've been going down like ancient Irish and Scottish history, and then I'll like be like, okay, tell me about these debates within the Islamic community, because I'm interested in all history. So I'm really like at the mercy of what documentaries are being served up to me, and sometimes these algorithms are just like, do you want to know everything about the Mongols? And I'm like, yes, I do.
Like, why not? Yeah. No, I think history is definitely the most interesting documentaries, aside from me personally, music documentaries, because I'm the most interested in music, so that shit is always number one on my list. But historical shit, all that shit is just context to present day and where the fuck we at now. So that shit is always interesting.
I used to, before I was into like boring history documentaries, I was really into music documentaries about bands and artists. So what are some of your favorite music documentaries?
I would say The Art of Rap. It was an Ice-T one. It was made in 2012. I like very like hip hop ones. Even there's a Netflix like series, Hip Hop Evolution, where they just go through different regions, points in time, and just important historical hip hop events, like shit like that. More like I'll see random clips where of like interviews of people. Like I feel like for more like knowledge or inspiration, I would rather do interviews than the documentary. Like documentary is just more of that historical context for me.
Nice. Yeah, and also with like, there's a lot of great like YouTube shorts or just social media shorts on random stuff, especially if you're in a certain interest. They will just.
That's the rabbit hole right there.
Yeah.
The shorts that should have you there for hours.
Yeah, one of my favorite documentaries, music-wise, I watched was about. Have you heard of Sound City?
No.
It was this recording studio in like Canoga Park, Reseda, just by the brewery right next to it, and they had the Neve console, which was this uber expensive analog console, and it was notorious for it was a ratty studio, but something about the space, the sound of the console, and the technicians there that bands produced some of their most iconic albums, like Rage Against the Machine recorded their debut album on it, Nirvana recorded Nevermind, just the Pixies.
Legendary stuff.
Yeah, just you could go down from like all the way to the Beatles too, and it's now sitting in Dave Grohl's personal Studio 606, which is where the Foo Fighters, like the home.
So it's still open.
Yeah, it's still the analog console's still getting used, but it started out as a part of this like decades old journey of recording music. So the whole documentary was around the console, not even the bands. The bands were passing characters in it.
Yeah, that's
and they were talking about like the challenges of recording on analog and balancing it out. And I've seen it in person. It is the size of the studio apartment.
Just a big ass machine that they run the shit through.
Tapes, so, and that was cool seeing the appreciation for just the studios and the gear and the people behind the gear, because the technicians were some of the stars of that documentary, talking about they were the ones that knew how to operate it.
Yeah, because
They knew
Most
how to get
artists
the...
don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, like
They knew what that armada of buttons does.
Mhm. So yeah, I focused on the guitar, not all that shit.
Dude, even for this, like... Telling a story is one thing. Setting up all the
yeah,
cameras makes me want to cry sometimes.
yeah. I'm sure like the editing process too, all that.
Yeah, and some episodes are easier than others. Other times it's like you just want to move on to the next story, and you're just like, I gotta...
It's like, oh, I gotta, because you definitely gotta sit through and listen back to everything.
Yeah, especially when you're like getting the audio right, and for like the like It's Killing Me episode with Chris Tires, that was like 3 hours long.
3 hours is crazy.
3 hours long, and I had to do some edits in between, so I'm like,
3 hours is nuts. Because how long was the actual session of like
it was probably like 4 when,
yeah, like 4
when
or
you
5.
factor in smoking before and then drive and then like getting food afterward.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's rare I can sit down and listen to a 3-hour podcast. I have to really, really fuck with the people.
Yeah, and it's also just like I kind of like that's the fun of it. If you listen to one podcast episode over the course of like days, like there's some history podcasts I listen to, like Dan Carlin's Hardcore History. Those are 6-hour episodes.
Oh damn. Yeah, he's really getting to the root of the.
Yeah,
He's breaking down that history.
Yeah, but that's where it's also like I see the temptations because they like the smart TV suggestions, like the Real Housewives of Atlanta, and I'm like, I would love to just try to have a mutual conversation back and forth. Because I'm intrigued by people who aren't interested in the same stuff as me.
It's like an insight to a new world a little bit.
Yeah, because I'm definitely very much like a knowledge addict, where it's like, no, I like to know everything.
Know as much as possible.
Yeah, and also like now it's so easy with like social media and YouTube where I'm just having it constantly fed where I'm like, oh, you're just okay not knowing about that thing that existed longer than anything we've known.
Yeah, just out there. Do you believe in aliens?
I have not seen any convincing proof that anything other than like amino acids and like the building blocks that could support single cell life are out there. That being said, like I'm in the same camp of I'm as scared and excited if there is life as if there isn't. Like there being life out there scares and excites me. There not being life out there also scares and excites me. And to quote one scientist who I'm forgetting the name that I saw on YouTube, he's like, I want there to be life out there because we've done such a bad job at handling it here. And I'm like, yeah, I'm with like that.
Yeah, like hopefully there's another.
Hopefully there's life out there.
Getting it right out there.
We hope there's life out there, and we hope it's like us, but we hope it's not too much like us.
Yeah, if they're like us in any way, that shit is terrible. We probably wouldn't be here if they were anything like us. Like they probably would have came and conquered the shit already.
Yeah, and that's kind of what irritates me about just idiot politicians and wasting resources where I'm like, we could all just be getting high and sending cameras out into space.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, we could just
like,
figure
you
it
know
out.
that last space-time documentary was awesome? What if we didn't murder each other en masse, built new ways to get high, and built new cameras that we can shoot further out there so we can settle these high debates we're having? Because it's just like, can we...
Starting to solve the high debates, that's a whole nother...
It's like, yeah. That metal could be used for telescopes, not bullets. But then you have to dig into the other heavier systemic issues behind this stuff. And that's where, like... And this is also kind of what I love about sci-fi, is the speculation. I think so much of the life out there is just single-celled, or just, it's chilling out. It didn't need to be all neurotic and self-aware. It's just existing and living. And, like, most of it's probably, like, fungi and single-celled organisms just chilling out.
yeah, just be in nature.
Yeah, because we evolved to be this way because like a lot of evolutionary pressures and shit circumstances. Like, I would rather be alive now than be the first group of humans or like human ancestors that had to figure out how to live with outside of the trees. Because as William von Hippel put it in The Social Leap, we didn't leave the jungle. The jungles receded because of a climate shift. So we were just the group of chimp-like things closest to the outskirts of the forest, and all the ones in the trees were like, sucks to be you. We're not getting out of the trees. So there was a brief period where we were just getting sunburned, couldn't really run as fast on two legs, couldn't really kill anything, so we were picking off the scraps of bones, and we were more scavengers, and it was just getting sunburned and eating rotten meat, and, you know...
getting sunburned.
And then trying to and then getting enough dopamine from fucking that we kept going. You know what I mean? Like, there wasn't any clothes, there was just that brief transition period around, like, Homo erectus, Homo habilis, where it just sucked. It fucking sucked. And shocker that other life forms don't want to go through that fun transition to get thumbs and self-awareness and writing and technology. Like, like, that's what we had to go through to get screens and, you know, internet porn. Like, it wasn't like it was an awesome... We had a blast evolving to get to this point.
Yeah, no, I grew up with fucking grocery stores, yo. I couldn't... I'm not cut out for those times.
Like, animals don't evolve shells because there's an absence of sharp teeth trying to get into their backs.
I didn't even think about that. It was like, oh, they was just getting stabbed up, so now we gotta...
Yeah.
Now we need... Evolution was like, yo, y'all need shells or something. It's like, need a little layer of protection.
Turtles are cool. How they got there was probably horrific.
Ooh, so what do you think is the next evolution of humankind? Like, where do we evolve to next?
I think there's going to be a split. I think hunter-gatherer populations could be just fine. They know how to survive. They know how to live off the land, do shit with their hands. I think there's, like, I'm just thinking, like, bell curves, and if you had to, like, actually retrieve resources, sedentary people are goners.
You said what type of people?
Sedentary. If you're sitting at home, DoorDash.
Okay.
You know what I mean? If you have an emotional support dog with you, you get just goners.
Damn.
You get what I mean? Like, no, we have to be very quiet.
Yeah.
Get the food from the other humans or the deer.
If you have an emotional support dog, you're fucked.
So I think some people are going to be fine and stay fit, and then there's also going to be a population of humans that recluses themselves with technology and affluence and kind of de-evolves. Like, mental processing maybe a little more, but that's only if they're feeding their brains with tasks. So I think there is going to be a bit of, like, a lot of animal species stay the same for long periods of time. Really, you only see these extreme changes when there's extreme circumstances, which hopefully there's... So you get what I mean of it...
Yeah.
Like, sharks and certain, like, plant species stayed the same way for just millions of years because nothing was backing them into a corner or stabbing them in the back or trying to set them on fire.
No, I... See, my theory, I've been thinking about it. A lot, right? So... Black people are gonna grow wings by 2100.
Okay. I'm on board with you all the way. Flap away.
Can't explain it all, yo. That's it. We growing wings, yo. We growing wings.
How long before do you think white people steal the wings and take credit for them and then have fake wings put on them, say these are all natural, and then somehow make it illegal for black people to have their wings?
Damn.
Like, they're gonna do to crack cocaine. They're gonna do to cocaine what they did to wings.
Dang. How do we know that's not what happened to angels?
Gabriel was black.
They about to shut down the broadcast, yo.
They took Lucifer's wings because he was black.
That's just what I heard. That's what they told me. But who am I? Damn, my bad. I didn't mean to get all philosophical in this. I'm gonna go home.
I'm not good.
And just recollect the podcast.
I'm not counting anymore. We can shut on the Bible all we want.
I'll be like, I definitely went up there and was like, niggas is getting wings.
No, that makes sense because cops are gonna be too fat to, like, can't put a knee on your neck if your foot is at the height of their head.
It's like, we gotta get up out of here, yo.
Yeah, it's like, hey, here, you know how we stopped getting dogpiled by the cops? Fly above them. Just standing there with their arms crossed.
It's the natural evolution, yo. Shit too wild down here, yo.
Cops would start shooting upward and then start shooting delivery drones and then blame the black people with the wigs, like...
Dude, then it's gonna be the delivery drone. We're gonna have to hear about that on Fox News for 3 months. These drones.
So, wait, but black people did, like, Captain America, what? It's just like...
I heard it was based on a true story, but that's just me, though.
They asked the main actor to hide his real wings for the CGI one.
Yeah.
Sir, we're gonna need you to tuck the real ones away.
Yeah, see? They try to usher it in, yeah. It was really... It's really foreshadowing to the real world.
It's like we're cracking a joke about this now, but you know there's some right-wing podcaster, and then they're gonna get wings and leave us.
See, here's the evidence. It's in the scroll somewhere. You just gotta find them.
See, like, for me, it's just I'm always like torn on the like. Do I want to put another child through this level of whiteness with a depleting ozone? Or do I want to diversify the genes so they don't have to fear the sun like I did? Like, that's about as much of like an evolutionary decision as I'm making. It's like,
okay.
Do you get? Because I'm aware enough. Like,
Yeah,
I could at least be like, yes, we.
Yeah, I used to be so ignorant. I wouldn't do sunscreen. I was just like, yeah, no, that's not that's a white people problem. that's not a me problem. Until you get sunburned.
Dude, sunburn is the greatest border fence ever designed. Like, flawless on who it filters out.
Yeah.
Like, God's way of saying, you should not be here.
Yeah.
That's why I love how many, all these Christians are like, hellfire, God will burn you, and then God's burning them every step of the way in America, and they're just like, what aren't you getting? Every time they're in Africa, just scorching their skin, and they're just like, we're gonna stay.
Oh, man, yeah. Were they fighting wars with sunburn? Were they colonizing sunburn? Or was,
Sunburn was always bad, but because of, like, ozone depletion, it got worse in the, like, since the Industrial Revolution. But it would still happen. Like, you could still get tan and too much.
Mm-hmm.
But it took on a different tone.
Yeah, I'm like, when the fuck sunscreen come out?
I don't know, but this isn't the history podcast, so I'm not going to be looking it up.
I think I could guess.
So, two other things I wanted to ask you. What are your thoughts on America descending into fascism? Like, I know we're having fun and doing our thing right now, but, like, so far on the tally board, it's been like, immigrants, no wrongdoing needed. College kids, merely for protesting. And I don't know if you've seen the decor, it's around the...
Yeah.
Like...
I'd say America doesn't surprise me. I feel like nothing, like, as I'm very desensitized. Like, all this crazy shit is happening, and I'm just like, America has always felt like America to me. Like, shit has always felt crazy. It's always felt fucked up. But I will say, like, I feel like optimism for the future has definitely gone down in just like the overall feeling of in California at least. Like everywhere I frequent, and we get to talking and chatting up about what's going on in the world. It definitely doesn't seem like everybody's like, holy shit, like it's not gonna end in a good place. Like I always think about the I don't know if you saw what Mos Def interview where he was talking about Drake all before the beef and stuff, and he was just saying how it's late stage capitalism music. Like it's meant for the mall, it's meant for shopping. But that was the first time I heard the phrase
Ooh.
late stage capitalism, and just even like thinking about like holy shit, like what the what's capitalism's ultimate goal? Like where does it end up? And it's never in like rich is gonna get rich, people poor gets poor. Like that's just how that shit is, yo. That shit gets extreme.
Wow. So that was a nerve. I never like. I hear the term late stage capitalism so much. I don't think twice about it. Regular in my vocabulary, and I don't think about like how other people when they become aware of that word and the baggage behind it.
Yeah, like late. It just like late stage. Like it's the shit has already been happening. It's trillions in debt. Like where does the shit?
And it's referring to it. We're on the end of it because like this is why they don't want you reading the Communist Manifestos because it tells you capitalism is going to implode on itself because it tries to take advantage of everything. And yeah, it kind of saw this coming, and I am with Mos Def. Yeah, it was a textbook rap beef to sell records. It was great for Drake and Kendrick, but
oh no, he said all that before the beef even happened. He was just commenting on Drake's music and just kind of like the
yeah, I get it.
Just the just where everything is at right now and the fucking what's being pushed.
Yeah, it's
all materialistic shit. Just buy.
Yeah, I run into that even like as a fan of stuff where it's like I don't want more stuff to put away, but I do want to support. And that's also like what I've noticed in a lot of entertainment is like people who work in the film industry, they can't afford streaming services because they're not working, and these streaming services aren't producing shows, so people can't afford it. When it's like, oh, if people were just working, they could afford all of them, but now they have to pick and choose, and it's that, yeah, capitalism's imploding, and I feel like that's, it's wild just seeing that everything's just a pattern. With like the rap beef, and it's like, oh, cool, it puttered out, you all made your money, you all got your attention, and how much stuff was happening in between that wasn't getting sung about. Saul Williams wrote about this in his book, The Dead MC Scrolls, and this was in like 2005, where he foresaw that like hip hop was getting much more shallow, and that these guys who were rapping about objectifying women and glorifying drug life, that kids and teenagers were taking that to heart. And he was hoping that these rappers would be more aware of the words they're saying because the whole world was imitating them.
That I feel like that's not their fault though, because even like back to our conversation where we're talking about poems where people are telling their stories, like that's my favorite form of hip hop is just hearing people tell their unique stories and what happened to them and what they experienced and just their perspective and thought process. And so it's like if you're from these environments and you're just saying what's around, and then now companies are like, ooh, let's sell that, let's invest in that. Like, I don't really think you're to blame for. You're just saying what's true to you. You're just living life, doing your thing, and then they're like, all right, let's throw all this money behind it, blow it up, let's pitch it to the people.
Yeah, and I've also like seen like how hip hop does the thing where it's like they like it when it's vaguely political but not too political. They like when it's real but not too real. Because that was the same thing was happening in like punk music where you were seeing bands that were vaguely political get bumped, but the bands that actually had something to say weren't getting as much traction because they had something to say.
Yeah, like that's
we're capitalists. We're probably not going to be promoting the band that says capitalism's evil.
Yeah.
As much as the band that says things are evil, but don't call out who specifically is. And that's also, it's like why you hear love songs on the radio if you're at a workplace all the time. And these like top like Billboard stuff, because it's all these artists. Like, I'm wondering, like, how bad do things have to get for Bruno Mars to write a song about Palestine? Because all of his songs are just like fuckboy elevator music. But it's like that's
fuckboy elevator music is a crazy genre.
Just like all these people have fuck you money, and they're just writing complicit status quo stuff. It's like,
yeah,
it is so easy to be edgy and cool and to take a stand now. You should be like, screw this, I stand for that. And people will be like, oh, cool, great. You know, like that was Macklemore's thing. He's like, well, people don't like me for my hip hop. But if I write a song about Palestine, and then people, because he was one of the rappers who was the loudest and proudest about supporting Palestine, and he got back into it because it was like, oh, cool. That's what we actually wanted to hear that.
Damn, I had no clue about Macklemore. I didn't.
Yeah, he did a song called Hins Hall that was named after the building at Columbia that was taken over by Palestine supporters, and the students who took it over, they renamed this building Hins Hall in honor of Hind Rajab, who was a little girl that was murdered by the Israeli occupation forces. So it was like, and then he put out that song, and it was when Biden was running, so it aged great. Because it was like calling out Biden, standing with the students, and it was talking about it, and it was like, and then it ended up getting tagged in all of the videos from Palestine rallies, because it was like, it was a song with a groove about what people were going through. And then when Kamala started running, he put out Hins Hall 2. And it was with even more rappers, and then he had a little verse on it, but it was just
putting on people. Yeah,
and it was about like, and then it was calling out Kamala. But it was cool, like having that response to it, and he updated the lyrics and let Palestinian rappers get in on it too.
That's fucking awesome. I didn't know Macklemore was on.
Yeah, and it was just cool seeing like, oh, we needed protest songs.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy with because I've recently started hearing the term protest music, but I only was like hearing it when people were clowning Kendrick and trying to like demean his music by calling it protest music, which one I don't really think it is, like, besides all right.
No, it's
just not.
It's vaguely political music.
Like it's not.
It's not.
And why is protest music like? Why is that a bad thing to put on somebody? You know.
Yeah, and that was like one of the things that I was like running into. Some of my favorite protest songs were anti-flag songs, but the lead singer is a fucking rapist. So, like other examples of like protest songs are like Rage Against the Machine, Woody Guthrie, even though it's folk music, it's protest songs, and same thing with like Public Enemy or like certain
Dead Prez.
Yeah, or certain Cypress Hill songs. I think Kendrick's was vaguely political and then there's also songs that like Bad Religion songs are political, but they don't have that like thud that you need to keep energy going at a protest. And that was the cool thing about Macklemore, is just something about those songs, you could play them at a rally and keep the energy going. Because the lyrics were heavy, but they were tangible while you were doing other stuff.
Damn, I never even thought about the fucking playlist at a protest and keeping the energy up and shit like that. That would be important.
Yeah, but that's also like a thing of like,
Can I smoke this in here?
yeah,
Good.
yeah, but I like protest music. I like music for the rhythm, like,
And with depth.
yeah. Have you heard of Hallucination, the indigenous DJs? They did a song with Most Def.
Nah, I haven't.
Yeah, they're really cool because they incorporate like tribal beats, and it's like, oh,
those musical elements. Is it like the drums? I'm assuming.
yeah, the drums, the chants.
Mm. Oh, man. I feel like it's so crazy how
Maybe if you're gonna be ripping a claw that big, I got a smoke buddy. If you...
Oh, sorry, my bad.
Yeah.
I
I forget because I like will use I'll vape in here, but I'll use my smoke buddy and I won't realize it.
What's a smoke buddy?
Oh, you don't. Filter.
Thought you just handed me a pocket pussy for a second, yo. I was like,
we're on camera. Go.
Oh. So you just blow it in here?
Yeah.
Damn. Okay. Let's see.
Dude, this is college.
Damn.
College classic right here.
Did I do that correctly?
Yeah, because it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you see.
Okay, that does make sense. Yeah.
Because
Damn,
we were on
technology.
hiatus. I was on hiatus from producing shows because we had a fire, so I was like, I don't know how sensitive this thing.
Were they close to you? Because we're in Hollywood, right?
So, no, we had a fire in here in September.
Oh, in the building?
4 floors up, and water trickled down, and it narrowly avoided all of my artwork and electronics.
Nice.
So, like, the closet, but it was just, when you get a text at work, fire, and you're just like,
yeah.
and I had to move out of this place for a little bit.
Did they put you somewhere? Or you
Yeah, like down the hall. But
Oh.
I had to move 3 times in the last 8 months.
Damn.
Yeah.
Did you do, like, literally move all your things? Or you
Yeah.
did storage unit type shit?
No, I just moved it down the hall.
Damn. I hate moving.
Me too.
I don't even like helping people move. I was definitely that friend that would help people move. I feel like I'm getting close to that limit where I'm like, alright, nah.
Oh no, I've learned which friends I can ask to help move because some will say yes and then it's like, oh, you meant more than one thing.
Oh yeah, that's crazy. Nah, I know if I'm helping move, we're committing to the, and I'm big, so we getting the heavy shit.
Dude, like, I'm slim, but something about like people just assume I'm Superman sometimes. It's like I'm lightweight, like I look fit, but that's just because you can see the meat on the bones. Like so there's times where I'm like, hey, I'm flattered that you would move that, but the laws of physics are against me on this one.
No, I definitely think you would be able to beat me in an arm wrestling match.
Don't let the tattoos fool you.
I definitely put all my money on you, yo.
Okay, so here's another thing I wanted to ask you. If you're on death row, what would be your last meal?
If I was on death row, I'm going ribs.
No.
But I'm debating if, because I feel like I don't want no restaurant ribs. Like I want somebody to throw down at a barbecue and cook them for me. Like
You're like, no, I want to.
like yo, when I say ribs, please make it. Go get my dad.
I like that you emphasize the cook because my situation. I'm thinking the same thing. Like, hey, this.
Let's lay out
Like,
the ground rules.
because I would choose like a chorizo breakfast burrito or ramen, but my fear is that they would have a white woman make either. Like, no, I want whoever makes this to not speak English.
Yeah, like go.
Like,
here's the address.
I want you to violate Trump immigration policies so you can get a proper cook for this.
Damn.
Like when I go to a restaurant and I barely can read the menu and I can barely understand the staff, I'm like, this place makes great food.
Fire.
Oh yeah, you're just like, you could pick the wrong thing and you're still gonna pick the best choice.
No, you want to know the biggest fat nigga cheat code, right? Check the soda prices, and I'll tell you everything you need to know about.
Okay,
the
go
restaurant.
on. Go on. What's the soda price hack?
Like if the soda is cheap, and like it's like a can, if they're giving you like a can of soda for like $1, $2 type shit, that food is about to be amazing. If you see sodas is anything over $4.50, you're fucked. Food's not good. Fries are frozen. They all about profit over here. Like it's not. If they're taxing on sodas, that'll tell you everything you need to know right there. That's one for the people.
Oh yeah. See that's how I am. Where it's like I can't do fast food, but I will do hole in the wall, off the curb food all the time.
Yeah.
I'm
Little
just
taco stands.
yeah.
Oh my god,
I'm just about done.
those get me through the day. Ooh, fire.
It's a good starter because I have bigger pieces that I will probably sew in other episodes, but this is a good little juggling the cameras because I have like a cape I'm working on that goes with this.
A cape? You're gonna sew the cape?
Like I have the sheet fabric. I'm gonna close up the seams so it's not.
Okay. Like fix it up.
Yeah, because this is a part of like an ancient medieval or Celt costume. Like there's a shield and spear set.
Damn. If you were in medieval times,
Oh yeah,
spear
like
be your choice of weapon.
Well, I'm going for like kind of and this is where the dweeb in me, like late ancient, early medieval. Like I would love to say ancient, but because on a few stylistic choices, I'm going to say medieval, so I'm not crucified on a technicality of continuity. Because the nerd crowds I rolling with, like, someone on our history memes posted a knight meme, and boy did they learn the hard way that the image they used for their armor was 200 years off.
Yeah, the not actually. That's what I call them.
But
it's like, well, actually, you gotta push up the glasses when you say it too. It's like, actually, it was 200 years off.
yeah.
That's fair though.
So, is there anything you want to plug before we wrap up here? Any shows, any projects, Kill the Poet, any...
Shout out to Kill the Poet, Antimatter, Magdalena, Moms, LeBron, my dad, the whole fam. Shout out Liam Nico. Shout out Kai Zion. Did I say Zane already? Did I shout out my nigga Zane? Did I shout out my nigga Young Toledo? Dalray Toledo? Shout out Bad Guy Mask Low. We are dropping an album this year. It's me and my brother Dalray Toledo. We got a beat tape coming out this year. I got another beat tape coming out this year with the homie Zane. What's it? Producer named Naughty. My producer named Anunnaki. Shit. I got work tomorrow. Come see me at work.
The grind is real when you're like you want to be like I'm touring everywhere. I got to be there by 8 a.m.
Yeah. It's like, yo, just come see me at work. No matter what day this drops, I'll be working the next day.
Dude, one of my favorite hardcore punk bands, Screamo, Alexis on Fire. One of their like first music videos that was on like TV and stuff, the bassist or one of the guitarists got fired from their job at Blockbuster because they messed up a shift so they could be there to record their debut music video.
Damn. See,
Just
fuck Blockbuster.
Yeah, but just you get where it's like, you think, oh, they're a we artist, and it's like, guys, this band thing better work out. Blockbuster canned me.
It's like we got to lock in now, yo. Blockbuster tripping.
that fine line as artists where you're trying to BSing on social media. This is my life, and then you're just like, and the date.
So I can't do social media yet. I'm like, I'm a make a video of me getting dressed for work.
Dude, embrace it. Like, it was like Bow Wow or Little Romeo. They were like, I'm going somewhere, and someone's like, you're in.
Oh yeah, the Bow Wow challenge with the fake play.
Yeah, we're just like,
damn, what a time, man.
All right, you've been listening to So Bro. Thanks for chiming in. This is the Messiah, the one, the only.
That's me.
Dude, you